practice that bothers me the most is when people brag about having a waiting list referral only practice. I have an alternative perspective here because everybody peacocks around like that's the greatest thing to have. If you're just cool with a subluxated kid staying subluxated for another 6 months until they can get in, I will never in my life be cool with that. A waiting list practice to me is a practice that sucks at hiring and sucks at marketing.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Chiropractic, where we talk business growth for, well, chiropractors. I'm your host, Corey Hibben, and today's guest is Dr. Tony Ebel, owner of PX Docs, which is the largest family and pediatric chiropractic network in the world. Tony built $1 million practice in 3.5 years, collecting roughly 80 to 90K a month from Blue Cross alone. And then he made the decision to completely shut it down, rebuild it from the inside out, and go into an entirely cash-based practice. In this episode, Tony gets into why he walked away from insurance, how niching put him into a blue ocean with zero competition, the exact system he uses to recruit and retain elite level associates without putting out a single ad, and why he believes that actually a waitlist practice is a sign that something is broken within the business. If you're a practice owner trying to figure out how to niche down, build a team that stays, or finally cut the cord on insurance, this episode's for you. Let's dive in. Tony, we are live in the flesh, man. Welcome to the show. How are we doing, brother?
I'm doing great, dude. It's getting warmer, getting outside, getting after it. Did a 5-mile ruck ahead of this interview. So I'm at peak state, as my teenagers would call it, I think.
I like that. I just had a buddy of mine in town here last weekend from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he was sending me photos the other day. He's like, it's just the cloudy weather that just kind of wears on you there. So I don't know if you have that experience where you're located in Illinois, but yeah, the clouds really wear on you, man.
They do. You can have a very well-adjusted rockstar nervous system, and I've got a very positive perspective. But you get to, spring break is key, because if you don't get to Florida or Texas or something from spring break, just to know that you're almost there, you probably definitely toast an even well-adjusted nervous system.
Yeah. That was one of the things he said actually after he left. He's like, you know what? I need to make this more a regular thing to come down here in like winter months just to get some sunshine, because he couldn't get enough of it. But
it's even a business owner pattern. I have not, from the very beginning when we quote unquote couldn't afford it, we take a week vacation every quarter. So every 11th week, we're heading south or heading somewhere fun, warmer weathers, you can head north. We've never not done that. Literally 18 going on 19 years. It's so neurological. It's business cadence. It's all the above.
Well, I mean, as you would know, vitamin D is more of a hormone than it is a vitamin. So if you're not getting that essential hormone, things get a little wonky. Well, cool, man. Let's kick things off. I have kind of a biggie to kind of start things off here. But I know you were collecting 80 to 90K roughly a month from Blue Cross alone, insurance, being insurance based. And then you decided to walk away from it. Why the hell would anybody do that?
Yeah, there's a strategy I live my entire life by. And I think a lot of chiropractors and a lot of people are naturally defaulted this way, but then the world shifts us to the other way. So not to go too metaphorical on this, but it's the only way I can answer the question, because it gets into the mindset before the direction and action. So you can take direction towards something or away from something. Or a lot of times the best answer is both, if you really play it right. So where I'm going with that is I made the move primarily so I could go 100 or 1000% towards a pediatric, perinatal, family practice, subluxation based, adjusting only, and cash. I was so attracted to this dream model of my practice that I knew was possible. Did I know anybody really doing it? No, but I don't know, stubborn enough, stupid enough, young enough to be like, okay, well, that has to be possible if I can formulate this and framework this up. So the real motivation, first answer, is towards. I had to have that, literally, or at minimum, the way I'm wired, I always say this phrase to my team: the only way to know is to go. The other phrase more people probably say is bleep around and find out. I'm that way too. I had to know whether I could do it or not. So that's answer number 1A. 1B is insurance sucks. It literally sucks. I saw patients. I got up to about 500-600 a week on my own. That was about the heyday. Yeah, because we were doing some rehab. I never did modalities or machines, but I had like a personal trainer in there, would do like postural exercises, neuromuscular stuff, right? I was a CrossFitter at the time. So basically, scaled back that. So anyways, we saw about 500 to 600 a week. That added up to $1 million practice, about 80 to 90,000 from Blue Cross. And the reality of that volume with those notes, I was so awesomely loving life Monday through Thursday. I would see patients all day Monday, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, half day Tuesday, got us to that volume. And I had two choices, Corey. Thursday night, done at like 6:37. I could either sit there, stare at my stupid ass computer screen and do all the notes, deal with all the what is the word? When they don't pay you and I can't remember the terms anymore. And
Collections.
yeah, or denials from
Oh, there you go.
insurance where they're like,
Yeah.
change this code, put a niner in there or something and send it back in. So I could either leave Thursday night and then have a dark cloud of all my notes and my denials hanging with me on the weekend, distract me from being present as a dad, F that. Or I could sit there till 1 or 2 a.m. and just click buttons and deal with all the paperwork that comes with an insurance practice. And if I'm staying in the practice after adjusting 500 a week till 2 a.m., what kind of dad am I on Friday, which was daddy day? A loser dad. Honestly, that was it for me. The wanting the pediatric all cash practice, that's the toward pull, and then wanting to get away from freaking notes, paperwork, denial. There's other stuff too. You're at risk of audit and yada, yada. That wasn't real big for me. I wasn't really worried that I was doing stuff wrong per se and that they were just going to ask for it all back. I wasn't being an idiot. I was following the rules, but screw rules.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you, man. It's such a hot topic. I mean, I'm obviously I've had docs on this show that are more insurance based, and actually, ironically, I won't say any names, but I do know somebody that just recently got basically audited. Like one of
Yep.
the insurance companies came at them, and now they had to hire an attorney to deal with the situation, and then the stress of not knowing, do we have to pay them back, and the fees of an attorney, and I'm not here to debate whether one model is
Right.
better than the other. I think to your point, it's really about what you want. And luckily, pain and pleasure are great motivators
Yeah.
at their most basic level. So clearly, you saw for you a better path, I guess you could say, you and your wife, and probably your whole
Yeah.
family for that matter.
Yeah.
But
And rules of the road. Truthfully, if you're doing subluxation based care, like if you go through and you read the contracts that you put your signature on with insurance companies, because it's all based upon Medicare, you're not doing subluxation based chiropractic. It's a treatment code. It's literally CPT, treatment code. And so then you read what their rules are on pediatrics. So by this point, I was already 35% pediatrics, and we had all the trajectory to go to where we are now, 50, 60, 70% pediatrics. So I'm not going to bill for that. Even if you get cute, you get creative, you will get audited and you will be paying that back. So it was that too. I had to.
what did niching down do for your business as a whole? I'm curious because this is always a hot topic as well. I've had actually a handful of docs on here that specifically did actually niche into pediatrics and prenatal and family care and things of that nature. I'm curious as from like a business perspective, I mean, obviously it worked out for you, but like what was the approach there and how did that play out?
Yeah, two of my favorite business books, they're definitely in the top 10 are Zero to One by Peter Thiel and then Blue Ocean Strategy. So that's this. I know a lot of business books talk about niche, moves, but this goes to the extreme. So really when I got going, little gray in the beard, I know podcast listeners can't see it, but been out long enough. And I think probably we've had a good amount to do with this. Pediatric chiropractic is trending. It's, we've been getting after it. I've been loud about it for a long time. When I was getting started, I always used to say to people, hey, this is the practice of the future. This is the direction I want to go in the future. I do believe we're experiencing that future now. Market shifts, chiropractic shifts, everything. But honestly, what it does for a business advantage, I love branding and marketing, probably the most out of the box of business stuff. And you're just in this blue ocean where you're completely different than everybody else. And I always tell the story this way because this is how I built my practice a bit before. And geez, I got to age myself twice. Social media wasn't really there. So I was networking Nate, right? Out at everything, shaking hands. You shake somebody's hand at a chamber, BNI, blah, 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 mixer. And you say, I'm Dr. Tony. I'm a chiropractor. They're going to grab their ass, grab their neck and be like, hey, because they're put their bush light. If we're in Iowa or Minnesota, maybe it's a bush light. They're gonna put their Bud Light down and their bad food, and they're gonna be like, "Can you crack me right here?" Instantly, you're like every other chiropractor, that brand, that model, you don't want to be a part of. When you pause and you say, for emphasis, "Hey, I'm Dr. Tony, a pediatric chiropractor," dude, nobody had any context, and still today, for the most part, don't. if you can get branding and marketing where you have intrigue and interest simply from being new and novel, whatever you say next is now their understanding of exactly what you do for the rest of their days. You get to set the pattern instead of having to disrupt or change. So chiropractors who are trying to be everything to everyone, welcome to a red ocean of competition.
Yeah, somebody else that deeply loves branding and marketing. I mean, really, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a position to live rent free in their brain, right? Because when somebody's like, "Oh man, pediatric chiropractic," your name comes up, and that's really what you want. That's really what marketing and branding is you want to be top of mind of whenever somebody's actually seeking your services. I'm curious too, though, is like it's one of those in between niches as well where everybody knows what pediatric and chiropractic
Mm,
are as in terms of like those words. They might not know what a care is,
yeah.
but they do know those words. Because I just got thinking too is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, what about a chiropractor that's like, I'm a Atlas only
Yeah.
chiropractor or something? Do you think that would be
Good
as
point.
powerful?
No, because it has to matter. The only niche that matters is if you've squared up your niche for something that has meaning to the marketplace, not to your own profession. Oh, this is a chiropractic subluxation if there ever was one. They're like, look at how different I am compared to other chiropractors using only chiropractic terminology. So when you put that out on your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, your podcast, it lands with no one who actually might come and pay you. So all of our marketing, branding, content is done in mom voice, mom language, mom meaning, because they make the decisions for the family. And so we take pediatric and family care so far into this niche because there's really three ways that it happens in chiropractic. And I'm the third, and I would obviously vote for that being the most effective. Number one, you just put family in the name of your practice, Corey Family Practice, but it's all back and neck pain and shockwave and insurance. So it's in the name, but it's not. Nobody thinks of you as seeing kids, and probably would caution themselves to take kids to you, because they see if you think about what their practice looks like, a mom walks in with a baby and people are getting hooked up to decompression while getting lasered and, neck traction. They're not sticking with it, whatever you called your practice. So, and a lot of chiropractors who purport to us chiropractic students and people that, hey, I'm a family doc, you go to their practice. No, they're not. So number two is a family wellness practice, Corey. This is an awesome practice. This is a cute boutique. Oh my God, I use the word cute like I'm inside freaking Hobby Lobby. And I wouldn't, but I would be with my girls. So you have this family wellness. There's pregnant moms, there's babies, there's well kid checks. They're coming in every other week, once a month, and it's cool. That's what I was taught through my first certification. Well, kids today are freaking sick, dude. This sucks. Where I'm going next, I wish we didn't have to. I wish you could just stop at that second one and be good to go. The third one is where you have a niche in complex neurodevelopmental kids. We've literally created a brand called The Perfect Storm, which is now recognized international. And you take care of these tough cases that those moms are up late at night searching for you. The homeschooling, don't vaccinate already, think chiropractic is a nice add-on mom. She's not Googling or searching anything. Thankfully, she probably doesn't really need to, right? And so it's hard to build a massive practice in this general family wellness. You could build you probably make a good living, right? And do some good things with that and certainly make an impact in your community. But 50% of kids have chronic illness. So the third practice is where the tip of the spear is what we call the perfect storm. First kid comes in really struggling, really big care plan, bigger case averages, bigger story, bigger educational pathway for the family. Now they get it at a deep level. Holy heck, this is nervous system chiropractic care. I'm bringing my new baby in too, because I don't want to go through the perfect storm.
Hmm.
I'm bringing myself in too, because emotionally I've been through the perfect storm. And dad, he's coming too, because I told him to. So we call that the +3 in 3. You get one perfect storm kid in within 3 months. The average family has 2 kids, 4 family members. You add 3 more family members. Every new patient to me is actually 4 because we're so good with our internal systems.
I love the branding behind that name, Perfect Storm. I mean, that probably resonates with people a lot because it's probably what they're feeling in the moment. I mean, you're tapping into a deeper feeling of what people are experiencing. How are you able to turn, to use your cute Hobby Lobby analogy? How are you able to turn a cute hobby of just like a standard practice to this like thriving pediatric niche practice that's like you're helping a lot of people, you're seeing a lot of patients, and it's super profitable as well? Like, how are you able to make that transition?
Yeah, you gotta go deep. You have to really go deep into clinical neuroscience and clinical mastery. Now, this is where I come back to my first hat, Corey, which is the chiropractor hat. You cannot do this because we're here on more of a chiro business, podcast, because this is everything we're saying from the business side of things is right on true. But moms will also find out and smoke you out if you can't actually get the job done and get their kiddo better. So it still remains true no matter your niche, but I think it probably has extra truth in pediatrics because they're just moms just aren't going to, stand for anything other than the highest standard. You have to be able to have such unrelenting certainty and clarity that subluxation and nervous system dysfunction is the biggest thing holding that kid back from getting better. And that's a colicky baby or autism, by the way, it rings true for both. And then you have to be able to create clinical adjusting protocols, care planning, and case management that gets results that are louder than any ad, could ever go. You start there. You build that as your foundation, clinical mastery and certainty. Well, you also need that to be an effective communicator because scripts do not fly in a pediatric perfect storm practice.
Hmm.
Can't they don't. Moms just buy different, think different, trust different, right? When it comes to their kids' health, and probably across the board, but they just know if you're being scripted, overly Socratic, and don't really know what you're doing. And so our practice, the mega pediatric and family practices today are built on clinical mastery, high level communication, and then not only do we market our faces off, but because we do such a good job getting results, those are loud. That mom's posting about that. She's going to document that on Instagram. And if you do a really good job communicating it, hence the podcast, the articles, and the content that we crank, now mom can also make sense of it. And at our level, no, she doesn't need to. She can actually effectively articulate why chiropractic is different and effective while she's sharing the story.
Hmm.
So our moms are our marketers. We are marketers. We are relentless, but we get the majority of our new patients from word of mouth, from results from moms. And then we just, put some nitrous on it with our content.
It makes so much sense when you just understand the scariest thing in the world is a mother, right? Mama bear, I guess you could say, is like the scariest thing on the planet because
Always.
they're very protective, but also too. I mean, I have a fiance, and I can tell you without doubt that she is far better at reading people and the situation and the environment and the tone and the way they shifted their hand, all things I'm not picking up on at all. And so if you have an entire practice built around that, right? Mothers that are highly in tune and
Yeah.
highly, very good subconscious and emotional understanding is like, I guess that makes sense when you say like a script's not going to work. Like it has to be true belief. It has to be true results. It has to be like, there's no fooling a mother, I guess you could say.
Not even dude, I trust everyone. I can even remember going through chiropractic school. My wife would always come with me because we knew we were going to open our practice. And so she was going to be the business manager. And so she would come to these seminars and these speaking. And I thought everybody, and I mean everybody, Corey. I was like, I trust everybody. They're awesome. I learn from all. Christina maybe trusted 1 out of 10. And so as we've always chosen our mentors in our past, Christina's discernment skill set is insane. We'll now apply that to the patient buying, chiropractic care from the family. The trust quotient, which every marketer and every brander is going to talk, is going to talk about trust. You take that core lesson and you apply it to a pediatric practice, and you have to really own it.
Hmm. Dive into the nitrous behind the marketing in the business. So I think that's pretty true that the core and the backbone, no pun intended, of every business is obviously going to be referrals. That's what you want because that assumes you have a good practice, and then obviously that will always be the backbone of any service business for the
Yeah.
end of time, I'm sure. But on top of that, what are you layering on top of that for your business to help grow it?
Let me start a little punchy because I love these podcasts. And I love going on other people's podcasts. When I have my own, I'm still punchy, but sometimes the team will edit it, Corey, and they'll be like, well, you got a little extra on that one. I was like, cool, clip it, put it out on Instagram. Anyways, so here's my least favorite practice, of course, is the struggling practice. I want to reach out to all those chiropractors, douse them with certainty, train them on how to do the job and help them out. I have a huge heart for that. My practice that bothers me the most is when people brag about having a waiting list referral only practice. I have an alternative perspective here because everybody peacocks around like that's the greatest thing to have. If you're just cool with the subluxated kid staying subluxated for another 6 months until they can get in, I will never in my life be cool with that. A waiting list practice to me is a practice that sucks at hiring and sucks at marketing. Okay. Because if you already earned your way through incredible results to a waiting list practice, now imagine this. Now imagine if you leveled up your business operation and leadership skills, hired associates, hired care advocates, hired support staff, and you could just stay in your lane and grow and scale and serve more. So a new patient wants to get in today. Cool. Associate Corey, Dr. Corey's ready to rock for you. He's trained. We're doing it. So you create growth opportunity at all time because growth is how you go after your mission and your vision to decrease your freaking community's suffering and the millions of kids who are chronically sick. And content marketing also, there's 1,000 things I could tell you, brother, that I love about content marketing. When you already have an established word of mouth brand, and then you share testimonials. So we put up at least 2 per week. We put up educational, we put long form content up, and we put short form content up because that's the appetizer. That's the crab rangoon to the pad thai, right? And so all of this is working in a major way to get it taken care of. And what that does is somebody who was already talking to another mom, talking to their sister about their great results, but then not really knowing for sure how it works or if it works, we just speed that process up with content. So now they buy from us faster because we're hitting them from all angles, word of mouth, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. The other thing that content marketing will change a chiropractor's life is our job is communication before it's adjusting. You can be the greatest subluxation annihilator in the world, but if you're the worst chiropractic communicator, you have a small practice and a small impact. So it's not either or, it's and. Well, if you start doing workshops, short form videos, long form videos, writing blogs, your day one, your day two, and your table talk get so much easier because I promise you this from somebody who does it. If you can learn to be effective in front of a room or in front of a microphone and a camera and get that to convert a new patient, you're going to walk into your day one, your day two, your table talk with a lot more confidence because you have those reps. And there's one more. And again, this is not even the exhaustive list as to why content marketing is such a game changer. You're now getting new patients who already know you, like you, trust you, and understand you. We have people, dude, because our content machine is so much, they no longer write down, hey, what are you coming in for? Autism, ADHD, and ear infections. I'm not bleeping you. Our patients write down to be checked for subluxation, sympathetic dominance, nervous system dysfunction. They write down our freaking language because they've been watching our content for 90 days. It's not 6 or 7 pieces of content anymore, is it, dude? It's like 600 to 700. When they buy and walk through the front door, I have goats. We're talking about that head to. I've had new patients walk up to me and be like, oh, your goats are so cute. And I'm like, well, that's a bit creepy that you're that connected to my personal brand. But that's the length of pre-homework that moms will do before they buy. And it means when I start teaching them what I have to teach them on day one, day two, they're already on second base.
The goat thing is just the price you pay for impact, though, is like, I used to think it was a little bit weird too, is like, cause I get the same thing. I create a fair bit of content on my end of things as well. And people, for the record, people love goat videos. I took many goat and chicken videos as well, and people love those things. But
You're dead on.
off topic a bit, but yeah, it's I think to help the audience too, or the listener, or whoever's watching this, simplistic way to describe like marketing for anybody out there is really you're just building trust. Is like that's really what you're doing at its most basic level. Is like you're building enough trust for them to maybe decide to reach out and have a conversation with you. And that's why there's so many different ways to do this, but they're all not created equal, I think is important to mention as well. And which is why video is so powerful. And I know you do a lot of video as well, is because people can see you, people can hear your voice, they get the real true expression of who you are, versus like a blog on the other end
Yep.
isn't quite as true as an expression. However, it still works. It's still
Yep.
powerful. I'm not trying to rule it out. I'm not saying everybody should only do video. I'm not saying that at all, but it is worth noting. Also, too, that's why long form and podcast shows, without question, are the most powerful thing on the planet right now. Because if you can get somebody to spend an hour with you, think about that. Somebody spends an hour with you, they are automatically friends with you, whether you like it or not. It's like,
True.
I'd be curious as to your take
Oh,
on,
thank you for that. Long
yeah,
for the answer is, it's like we're back in school and like, okay, what's the best answer? It's D, all the above, but you have to line them up into what sequence. So we are very, very structured in our marketing frameworks. And I commit and I take our clients down this road more than anybody else. I watch them like a hawk to get their long form content done. Long form content will never get you. This is why you have to look at the right metrics to determine how your marketing is working. Long form content is not the content that gets you top line viewers and reach, right? That'll be like your short form reel that went viral. But in the same breath, it's not always your little snippets of content that get these moms to actually become new patients. We literally ask very specific questions in our intake as to where they heard about us, and moms mention the podcast and the long form content most often, the ones that made their way through the front door. Which, what are we doing this for? That. Now, what they don't know is that we knew they maybe found us with the short form first. And we're like, that kind of makes sense. I want to learn. So I call moms who aren't yet new patients. You know how when you make an ad core, okay, I haven't done this in years, so correct me, because I now have a team that does all this, but I used to do it back in the day. My own little ads manager, like chubby little fingers back there. You can put a little button on there, buy now or learn more.
yeah, yeah.
Never use, I shouldn't say never. That's not the right word. 90% of our content is learn more.
Hmm.
Moms are in learn more mode, and more is better. Don't let marketers tell you that long form is dead because attention spans are shorter. No, people are choosier with who they're going to spend their hour with because they have more options. So the more content you do, the better you get at it, the more trust, Corey, you're dead on, then depth you get, sorry, the more trust you get from that depth. And then I'll finish it with this. Our long form becomes our short form. You'll be able to chop up what, 7, 10 short forms out of this, post them back up. You upload it to Gemini. Now with AI, it'll give you the transcription, the talking points. I can just go into Gemini. Our team does this. We train them now, but hey, make a carousel out of this. Tony and Corey said step 1, step 2, step 3, go into Canva, go into Claude. I mean, if you make long form content, right now, we typically pull between 17 and 20 other pieces of content from every one of my YouTube or podcast videos. And that's in all forms, not just short clips, but they can actually take the copy and turn it into a blog or an email newsletter. So we leverage team and technology to take every long form piece of content and repurpose it into everything we need it to be.
Yeah. Plus, too, I think people forget how good the algorithms have got at getting the right information in front of the right people. Back to your point about like maybe your longer video or podcast or YouTube or whatever your favorite platform is, isn't getting quote unquote a ton of views, but I'd be willing to bet a lot of money it's getting the correct views, which is a far better metric to track than your trending video that you're hoping to create or whatever it is.
Oh, I want everybody, man, I hope if anybody takes anything from our chat today, it's that are you seeing it where a lot of people just want to make short form content? And it's fun. I'm a little extra today. Maybe it's my recent caffeine I'm chugging here, but when folks say to me like, I'm too busy, I'm probably not the best person to say that you're too busy for that end of things. And the other side of that is if you did commit to long form, you'd actually have more net aggregate content than if you only tried to do short forms, because the long forms are really what make new patients happen.
Yeah. And I do the same thing. I mean, I have a
Yep.
long form and then I cut it up
Yep.
into shorter clips and then I also turn it into a newsletter. And this is all
Yep.
done with tools to streamline this entire process. For the record though, I do use Claude, not Gemini, but that's just me.
You know what? The only reason I said Gemini, because I hate, everything Bill Gates can fly a kite and Alphabet, but I put them together on that, and we use Claude too. But it literally stumbled upon it because we use Google Drive for all the videos,
Mm,
right, to share
sure.
across the team.
Mhm.
And I just so happened to upload one a few months ago, and it automatically kicked out the talking points. So I
Mm.
took that to our social team. They copy that into Claude, and then bring it alive. So just a
Yeah.
little bit of a quick step.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
do still use Gemini on a regular day-to-day basis just because exactly what you said, because it's synced up to my workspace and blah, blah, blah. But in terms of, like, the tool right now that I'm most using, it's by far Claude. I mean,
Million miles.
I'm spending hours on this thing, it's ridiculous. I probably have a problem, but, let's get into team here a little
Sure.
bit. So I know well, actually, let's tackle 2 things with this, team and also leadership.
Yeah.
Obviously, those go hand in hand, but, and the growing of the practice,
Yeah.
building this niche pediatric practice, I gotta imagine there were some growing pains of actually how to lead this team, how to attract the right talent. I would say the number one question that I get from people that even watch the show is like, how the hell do I get a good associate? How do I
Yep.
get a good team member? And then also to how do I keep them around? So yeah,
Oof.
I'd like to
There's
hear
a
that
lot
one.
there, big dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's chip away at this one. First off, you want to talk about growing pains. I always say this way, when you're first learning how to adjust as a chiropractic student, you're like, I'll never figure this out. And then you master it. Then you start to practice and you got to get new patients to the door at marketing. And you're like, okay, well, I at least got, good enough to get it going. And then you get good at marketing, you get good at conversions, you get good at results. Should have put that first because that's where it starts. And all of a sudden, you have to get good at leadership because you're just cooked. And nobody tells you this until you're just getting fricking run over by it. And so to say that I've failed again and again at leadership is a real big understatement. And so I hope I can really help some folks with this through my story, and then I'll weave that into strategy. My first coaching and mentor group, and I get why they said this now because it is so hard. They said, look, CAs and associates, nobody stays past 3 years. We've studied the industry. That's all there is. So keep their pay low and your expectations low and just max your margins. And then you just kind of always got to be hiring and training. I remember for like 1.8 seconds sitting in that seminar thinking, okay, that kind of maths out. I remember sitting next to my wife, back to Christina again. She's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Which is kind of inside chiropractic business. You could probably, unfortunately, you can say that too many times, right? And we'll get to the associate thing because we do it so dumb. And so we totally did not take that advice. We were like, that can't be the best path forward. We were very young into practice, did not want to go 40 years into practice, hiring new people every 2 to 3 years. Like, I mean, I'd rather go back to farming. So what we decided to do was to kind of take their plan and flip it 180. I was like, well, if that seems like a bad plan, let's just freaking do the opposite. And so we sought out really high level associates who have the makeup to be business owners because they have that drive, they have that humility, they have that hunger to learn, and they have that skill set. But you're looking for, and there's not that many of them, but that's okay. That's why you want to know this. You're choosing for the best. They are risk averse. They are not entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur and leader are not synonymous. Okay. You can have high level clinicians and high level doctors and high level CA leaders who have zero entrepreneur desires because the way God made them, they're super risk averse. Your life is crazy to them, that one particular part of it. And so we've always sought after high level associates who we knew from day one. We would train them well to do a great job, but we had higher expectations. So what we've done is we've matched that with higher pay, right? It's a better job, truth be told, with higher expectations. So it all maths out in the other direction. And then we did the same thing with our CAs. Instead of saying, let's just get somebody for, 12, 15 bucks an hour, try and save money and just give them a checklist. And if they do the job at a 6 out of 10, we're okay with that. We went into like the corporate. I would take basically, I've always hired from moms because they've got the story, right? They've literally got that lived experience.
Mm.
So I've stolen moms from corporate jobs again and again and again and said, hey, I don't have your health insurance, packages, but we do have a purpose and a mission here that could use you. So we've hired high level CAs to come in and do that job. Now, that's a perspective. That's kind of the hiring component of it, or the who part of it.
So this is a little counterintuitive, right? Like, so this
Yeah.
is most people are trying to find like the best for the cheapest price, I guess
Yeah.
you could say, is typically what most people are searching for. But you flip the script, right? It's like you're going straight to the top. You're looking for A players. You're willing to pay for them, as in terms of looking at the ROI in terms of the long term of somebody actually sticking around. Because I think, I don't remember the numbers, but it's like 6 months or 12
It's
months or
bad.
something like that until somebody like even becomes profitable in your practice. So if they leave in 3 years, they're like barely even profitable in your practice.
Yeah.
So what has that done for the tenure of the practice, and what has that done for intern, and also too,
Yeah.
how are you vetting for these type of associates?
You got it. Okay. So specifically on associates, here's the overview of our system. There's obviously some stuff that's probably, super granular and important too, but that wouldn't matter if you don't get this stuff first. So number one, they don't come to you. They don't come from Facebook groups. And I've never had to hire a headhunter, because I go to schools, go to clubs, and so does my right-hand man, Dr. Matt, who will be kind of the perfect case study on this to really get it right. He's been with me for 10 years. He is living an incredible life, has a dream job, and is absolutely crushing it. I won't share anything, but he's smoking a lot of owners. Okay. So, point being, we always go to schools, sometimes on Zoom, but often I'll get on a plane, go speak at club, and I pour into them, and I'll mentor them, guide them for free. I usually even give them Christian chicken nuggets, Chick-fil-A or pizza or something, and we just pour into them. You know what happens when we're pouring into them? They notice, they see our purpose, they see our vision, they learn about our practice. And so we go to schools nonstop. I've been doing this the whole time. And then we have the best interns ever. I had a really world-class internship, Corey, with this guy by the name of Dr. Mike Cody, who's no longer with us. So I have taken the internship thing for these future chiropractors and made it the best damn intern program in the world.
Hmm.
Because it's so great for them, they don't want to leave, because they're having this incredible experience where they're getting this high level training. And so pretty much every associate we ever hire now, we have at least 3 to 6 months of on the job internship training to know that they're a perfect match for our team, for our culture. And then they're interviewing us. They're now with us for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So they know whether they want to stick. So I have the same question, dude. It's the top question I get on my DMs. How do you find associates? Did you post it up here? What do you pay? What's your contract? Wrong first question. First question is, my question back to them is, when's the last time you went and poured into students? Or I also pour into the profession. You know how many associates are in my town, every town, and all over, who are willing to pick up their family and move states, even to Illinois? That's when you really got to dial in, because everybody else is moving out, and pediatric chiropractors are moving in. So, but they'll move because they're in some horrible associateship. So I'm very vocal with giving to them. So that's a long Tony answer to, we have a pipeline at all times, not because we post more, job wanted ads, hire the best headhunter. We do pay very, very, very well, but that's not the hook either. Okay. They just know us. It's marketing, actually, is what we did before, right? On marketing for new associates. Second thing is, they are so well trained through the process of our training, which is culture immersion first. They get there, they worried. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to adjust. I got to learn how to do day 1, day 2. Nope. Your first 30, 60 days, just learn how to be a part of this team. And then, because we have a huge family wellness practice, we get them up to speed, taking care of wellness patients. So we have, I think we adjust between 700 to 800 a week wellness patients. In a good way, they're not complex. So from a clinical standpoint, that'd be a little bit of a softball, right? We're not taking a new associate being like, you have a level 3 autism new patient this afternoon, good luck, right? So new doc, they get to immediately adjust 200 to 300 patients a week right out of the gates, who don't have that complex of subluxation patterns or challenges or questions, because they've been with us forever. So they gain this confidence over the first 6 to 12 months of being an associate by taking care of a high volume, sometimes 300, 350, of our low hanging fruit. That increases their confidence, and 200, 250, 300 patients a week of wellness patients we actually turn our associates profitable at the latest 90 days. It does not take us 6 months because we have such a strong wellness base to at least break even, usually within 45 to 60 days. And then the final thing, and this is really actually is simplifying it. I know I'm talking a lot, but there's actually more to it than this, a bit more. Then after they get that mark of, okay, I know when our associates are ready to do more communication, day 1, day 2, take on tougher cases, perfect storm, intensives. And then after that, we will involve them in marketing. We will make them brandable. We will get them out in the community. We will have them do videos, not on day 1, but once they earn their stripes there. Then those are more valuable positions. Somebody who can communicate, there's less of them than there is who can adjust. Somebody who can market and go out and get new patients, there's less of them than those who can communicate and adjust. So the pay scale and their profit percentage they take home goes up over 1, 2, 3 years as they grow into these other doc roles. And because we go back to what we talked about earlier, brother, we're in growth mode net. I can handle more communicators. We'll market more. And then when they get good at communication, now they increasing our marketing effectiveness. So now the next intern, wellness patient adjusting associate, the new hire picks up the 100, 200 a week that this doctor's not dropping per se, but they're moving into new roles in the practice. And the final say is this: we do that for 3 years. We have a 3-year plan with our associate doctors. And after 3 years, we usually know literally from the beginning of the relationship, which is key, brother. We know whether they're going to open their own practice and they're spending 3 years on residency with us to learn clinical mastery, communication, and business and marketing. And when they go graduate, we throw them a party. I'm not kidding. We throw them a party. And I've actually invested in a few of them. I've helped them open their buildings because I'm betting the model, the horse. I know it. It's my business model. And I train the jockey. So I've literally invested in some of these future practices to help them get going and not have to go to the banks. And that I need to do more of that because it's a genius move. Or at 3 years, we look at them and go, would you like to be the next Dr. Matt, who's been here for 10 years and is now our lead clinical doctor, does all the jobs I used to do, so I can go do this PX docs thing, and he's the COO. And when you get the level of leadership and value to the company that a Dr. Matt, a 5-year, 10-year associate doc brings, that's a well-paid position. So they don't have to leave.
I think I'm really glad you gave the long Tony answer to that question because I feel like we could technically end the podcast right here on the fact that you just gave a masterclass on recruiting, hiring, training, and retaining the best talent humanly possible, which I feel like I know the answer to this question, but how important is your team to the growth of your practice?
I don't do anything for the practice anymore. That's a Tony statement. I could disappear into the night and that practice would thrive. And
That's my point.
yeah. And that's my dream statement or dream state. When I go in there, they get a lot out of me. I take on tough cases. I still help market the practice because I still love doing it. But it's so important because most leaders aren't leading. They're the bottleneck.
Mhm.
And so I had to get to this level 3, level 4 leadership position. I'll tell you why I didn't do it. I actually didn't do it for freedom. I've never let myself get out of balance, even when it was kind of quote unquote all me. I've always protected my guardrails and my constraints with my family and my fitness and my wife and my kids and my health. That's just me. I was never I don't love the word sacrifice. So just not willing to cross that line. Invest, work my ass off. When you say guardrails, will I take a corner at 90 and kind of hit some sparks on the guardrail? Yes. Okay. But you grew up in Minnesota and I grew up in Iowa, so we can ride ATVs and, safety third. So I'll shut up after this. It's so essential not to give me freedom. I have it. Not to give me financial prosperity. I have it. It's because there's so many sick and subluxated kids that if we slow down because I got in the way, more kids would stay sick, and forget that.
I love it, man. I know we're running a little short on time, but there is one thing I wanted to make sure to tap in with you on real quick because I'm sure it probably has a soft spot for you. But you and Christina,
Oh yeah.
your boss, your best friend,
Yeah.
by far the most impactful person by far in your life and in your business.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to like, what does that actually look like behind the scenes that most people don't see? And what does she actually do that most people aren't even aware of that has been helping to build this thing?
You know what's funny is now that we have this business mastermind called Brick Builders, we have a training tomorrow. So she's in her highest state of distress right now today, brother, because she has to do live public speaking presentation. She is so valuable behind the scenes. And the bigger you get, the more this value is. So we make her now teach. She doesn't do any marketing. I shouldn't say none. She despises Zoom training. If you asked her to come on the podcast with us today, Corey, she would hate you forever. But you know what I mean? Because it's just not her thing, right? To be the external component of it. So she's so I bring that up, but what she does is everything. And so if we don't find the right places and, to kind of extract it out of her, and because obviously she would give a better answer to this than even I can, but I know enough to be dangerous. So what she knows in vivid detail, because I'm a visionary, big picture, move fast, done beats perfect. The only way to know is to go. That's how I operate. It serves us very well, but it would also drive us off many cliffs, right? It would distract us. It would burn us out. It would have all that if it was just me, setting the pace and setting everything. So she's a marathon runner, literally has run like 15 marathons, run Boston. So she knows how to make detailed, granular, organizational decisions. So she runs everything through the brand first. Is this literally on brand? So she's our chief brand protection officer. She's our product excellence officer. Nothing goes to market until she has stayed up until midnight on her laptop, reading every single email and making sure that THEIR instead of THEY''. Okay. Like she finds everything. And then I don't know if this is most importantly for me personally answering the question, those two things and many other things is what she does for the business. She's discernment. Working genius is what we use. So the 6 working types. She's discernment and then tenacity. She will carry every single one of us. She's in charge of project management. And everybody loves a project. The first beginning, your annual planning meeting, your whiteboard, your ideation, you build it all out, and everybody hates a project from about 60 to 80% completion to 100%. And they'll either slow down or they'll take shortcuts. Not Christina. She will carry, with her tenacity on top of her discernment, she will carry every project to completion with excellence. So honestly, the speed of our organization is the combination of me coming up with 15 new ideas, my GoDaddy account, yours too, probably, Corey. I have so many URLs that I'll never use. And then she chooses the ones that are actually going to do, the mission. And then she makes sure they get done. And then the other thing that's in my head for this answer, big dog, is this. She protects my energy like none other. She knows when it's a sprint season for me. And so she will just, without me even knowing it, get the barn cleaned out so I don't have to that night. Pick up the kids. I'm very involved as a husband and a dad, but there'll be seasons when I'm cranking content. There'll be seasons when I'm traveling a little bit more. She always sees those coming and just kind of this unspoken, hey, I got all this. Don't worry about any of this. Those kids need you. The team needs you. The mission needs you. I'll handle this. So she's just locked and loaded at all times.
Let me guess your working geniuses.
Yeah.
Wonder and galvanizing.
I'm actually ideation and galvanizing. Wonder, I totally thought it was going to be wonder, but I don't know. I probably have done so much strategy building and execution, I think, at this point that it kind of came down one bit. I bet my first couple of years, if I'd have taken that the first 5 years, I think it would have probably been wonder.
Yeah. Yeah. I've used that one a lot as well. The reason I wondered, so I'm wonder and tenacity. Kind of.
Oh, you're on the.
Yeah. Yeah. I love ideating and ideas, and I can spend many long walks around a trail just like thinking through things. And then damn well I'm going to get it done. Like it's the funny, the tenacity thing can also be a major weakness. Let me tell you though, man.
Can.
Like there's some things I just shouldn't even be doing. Well, this has been amazing, Tony. And where can people find you? What's your plug? Where if people want to work with you, tell them all the things.
If you let me tear it out a little bit. So Instagram, we absolutely have a killer Instagram and Facebook page, but I want to get a little extra on that. If somebody knows, we didn't talk as much about it today because you have such a kick-ass podcast that really focuses on these other elements of the business, but the core of your business is clinical excellence. If you've always wanted a pediatric and family practice, but hey, clinically I'm not there, send us a DM on Instagram and ask about our CERT course. Just be like, hey, tell me about the CERT course, the adjusting seminar. That is done in conjunction with Life University. It's the largest postgraduate certification program they've ever had.
Hmm.
And it's just caught fire. We trained over 1,000 doctors. So if you need clinical certainty first, you can go to our website too, thepediatricexperience.com, and find it there. But if you are really a different avatar for us and you're like, hey, I really know what I'm doing when I'm taking care of kids. I just don't know what I'm doing with marketing, branding, content, associates, leadership, business. Well, we do that too. It's an and organization with PX. So that you will find on the Family Practice Podcast. So our podcast is called the Family Practice Podcast. And I get into some clinical stuff there, but we really focus on the business of the family practice as well, which is why, Corey, man, when you invited me on this, the first thought I had, because I live on the farm, drive all the time, go rucking, listen to podcasts, I was like, how am I such an idiot that I've been burning through your episodes the last couple of weeks since Tim connected us to do this? Because I've been looking for this podcast. Your podcast is legit, man. I'm judgy. I am. People ask surface level questions or they spend a little too much time on story and don't relate it to strategy. You do a good job of interviewing people, and you've brought on people who are actually doing legit stuff. So
appreciate it, man.
Yeah. That's where our stuff is at.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll put that all in the show notes. Thanks again for checking out the show. And funny enough, I don't know if you caught to them yet, but I have had a few pediatric clinic owners on the show. And I mean, I'm definitely going to share this one with them because you got into some fucking killer stuff, man.
Yeah. I'll send you more too. Let me send you, what's happening with PX right now. Our crew loves practice so much. They're actually a little bit quieter on the Chiro scene, which is a problem, that limits our impact. And so I'm really hell-bent on changing that this year, where I have about 8 to 10 of our offices who have 7-figure multi-doc offices, huge lives, clinical mastery, and people don't really know who they are, but they really should. Let me send you some badasses in this space too, and their stories and their strategies are something that could really impact the profession too.
Well, you're hitting right at the core of exactly what I want. Cause I've had a lot of really cool names and impressive people on the show, but to be super transparent with you, man, I am hungry to have people on that nobody knows about that just have a wealth of knowledge that has not been tapped into yet. So
Cool.
if you know those people, man,
it's on.
Let me know. Appreciate
it's on.
It. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thank you, brother, man. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Can't wait to help you out. Get rid of our whole mission is to completely replace the conventional pediatrician. And so let's go put those turds out of a job. They'll be selling State Farm insurance with Jake.